I think that we should all be offended with shootings inside schools, outside schools, home abusers. That should not be a normal thing. And we have learned that it's okay. In America, it could happen and there are no consequences. And the first change that I want to see is everyone in a disruptive attitude fighting this.
Right, so I made a sound earlier because I thought that was gonna be Ted Cruz. Thank God, that's Manuel Oliver.
Thank God.
Yes, Manuel Oliver, again, we've seen him out speaking at the Rose Garden, shouting at President Joe Biden to do more on gun control. His son was killed in Parkland in 2018, and he's been out in front on this issue, even as the so-called bipartisan, gun safety legislation has been heralded. He's saying that's not enough, and now they're doing even more. So you might have seen this image. This was yesterday, 52 empty school buses sent to the front door of Ted Cruz. And this was, each of them are named for one of the mass shootings.
Oh my God.
That have happened at schools. And Manuel Oliver was part of this. He and his wife have been part of this effort. It's called the NRA Children's Museum is what they're calling it. And each bus not only has the name of that mass shooting, but it's filled with the items belonging to the children who've been killed in mass shootings. The bus contains 4,368 empty seats, according to the press release from Change the Ref. This is the organization. A reference to the number of children who were killed by gun violence in 2020. Supporters of Change the Ref say they want Ted Cruz to implement universal background check legislation for those who want to buy a gun. Their press release states. Some of the buses featured an exhibit of artifacts, photos, videos, audio recordings, and personal memories of these children who have lost their lives to guns. Just take a look at some of those items. So the NRA Children's Museum, which by the way, can we just say, brilliant name. Mm-hmm. You've got a medal, you've got shoes, a Young Author Award, small gloves.
That's devastating.
I don't know if you can look at this without getting choked up. Manuel Oliver took to Twitter and he just sent a tweet right to Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz. This morning, we left you a letter that our son Joaquin wrote 9 years ago. I wonder if you had a chance to read it. I think it's time for you to listen to our son and start prioritizing kids over the NRA's money. And it is actually really important to read this letter. It is devastating to read this letter. This is again from Joaquin years before he was killed. Dear US gun owner, he was only 12 and he was 18 when he died. I'm writing this letter to talk to you about how we're going to solve this gun law movement. Most of you have a problem with the idea of universal background check. Why are you mad there's a background check? It's for your own good. Maybe you're fond of having crazy people with death machines. You shouldn't have anything against background checks if you're innocent. Thank you, Joaquin Corral Springs, who was then killed in Parkland in 2018. I believe he might have been 17, or I apologize if I got that wrong. But outside of Ted Cruz's doorstep, shaped like a gun, these school buses. Before we go to you, Rick, what's Ted Cruz saying in the wake of things like the Uvalde massacre at elementary schools? Let's just remember that.
That there are 19 families right now that are experiencing the most horrific and unimaginable agony. There is the nightmare of every parent. There are two more families, the families of those two teachers who heroically gave their lives. Enough is enough. This is horrific. So look, I agree with you. We need to do something, but the something is not the empty political posturing of people like Beto O'Rourke, who shows up and tries to turn it into a political event instead of a briefing with the police about a horrific mass murder.
Empty political rhetoric from the father of a gun violence victim? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything empty. In fact, those school buses are full of artifacts. Rick, your thoughts?
So I love the exhibit first because I think it's very powerful. I think that we need to start doing more stuff like this, but even pushing the envelope further. The point of protest and activism is not just to hold up a sign and then go home. It's to disrupt the system and make people feel uncomfortable. That is very discomforting to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we do remember, in the wake of the Uvalde shooting, Ted Cruz then went to the NRA convention in the same state, and he gave a speech. He's doing political posturing. Also, what Beto O'Rourke did when he disrupted the mayor, Don McLaughlin, who has been, am I allowed to say ass? I said it, he's a total ass. Like the amount of posturing that dude has done with like, we need mental health. It's like your governor cut mental health, dude. It's an impossible position to take, but people, they're also banking on people just not looking into this stuff. And that's why we do. The third is, what will it take? Is my question. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable if you are a gun owner and if you're a Republican to think, I am a responsible gun owner. Wouldn't I want there to be more people like me? So I would want to put in the bare minimum stuff to happen. That's how I feel about this. And very quickly, as I've gone over on 2IT Sports in the past few weeks, I grew up about 10 minutes from Highland Park. Oh. I know people that are affected from this. And yes, we've tried discussing this many times and everyone has said it's cliche at this point, but it will happen in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because of where we are, because of the country, because of the lax gun laws, because every single politician on the other side of the aisle is owned by the gun lobby. They don't care about you. It is profits over people at every point. So knowing 70 plus people, 60 plus people that were at that parade, knowing kids, nieces and nephews who are scarred, that don't even want to go outside. They're lucky to be alive, obviously, but this is not the traumatic way that we should be living. We should not have super lax gun laws where people can't even go to, whether you believe in it or not, the July 4th parade where they're just trying to have a good time, eat a hot dog and go home. Yeah. No one should be traumatized by this, but it is absolutely people like Ted Cruz who will never stand up to someone who called his wife ugly and said his dad killed JFK to do anything because he's a feckless, soulless.
Yeah. No, he's feckless.
I was going to say something bad.
Oh, it's fine. He is the most cynical politician. He's the most, just like the most opportunist. Like he will stand on the bodies of dead children and promote guns, and that's effectively what he did. And he, by the way, was not one of the senators who was on board with the bipartisan gun legislation. Again, stuff that does not even go far enough. These are background checks that only are expanded to people between the ages of like 16 and 21, right? Or 17 and 21. Like when you can get a gun, and we're talking about like these are people also who probably don't even have records at that point, right? So what are you actually doing here? This is not gonna stop and hasn't stopped. In fact, even background checks haven't stopped these mass shootings. So, I mean, Rick's absolutely right. I think that those buses should just parade around the entire, like just take a tour. Take a tour of the nation. We should all be continually remembering these children and their names and how unjustly they died.